So hello everybody and welcome back to part 2 of this little series of French history that I'm doing. I really hope that you enjoyed part 1. I know there was a few technical hitches on there. It wasn't perfect, but you know, making these videos is something really new for me. I'm just saying, when I watch them on YouTube, there's lots of historians that I love watching. And they make it look easy, and I can tell you it really isn't easy. It's really hard to put these kind of videos together, and I'm an amateur, you know, so but I'm just doing these, as I say, because I really enjoy doing them and they're coming from the heart. And in fact, I want to dedicate this next video to my French Papi, my French granddad, who passed away on the 29th of July 2006 at the age of 76. And I'm actually going to be filming this part 2 on Napoleon Bonaparte, and it was his favourite icon, really. So my Papi used to really, he loved Napoleon. So he, you know, my Papi was a French detective and in Paris. So Jérome CAMIRET, and he had a fascination for Napoleon. He had all beautiful bronze statues and paintings of Napoleon in his office in Paris, and so this just made me think of him. And so I really hope you enjoyed this video. Part 2 is about the French Revolution and Napoleon Bonaparte. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for being with me, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. So Napoleon Bonaparte was born in 1769 and he died in 1821, and he was born in Corsica. And yes, so Napoleon, he was just destined to be the greatest conqueror and emperor that the world had ever seen at this point, and the most amazing statesman that had ever lived. He basically, by the age of 26, he'd become a commander of the military in France. He'd proved himself basically within the military all the way through his career, so much so that they entrusted him with troops in Nice during the French Revolution, when there was troubles going on in France. So he had his troops based in Nice. So yes, I believe that he was actually promoted to being a general commander for Toulouse, and a statesman for the French Revolution, during the French Revolution, and basically a political leader. And he was instated there to help with to reinstate social stability in France. And yes, as you can see, this is a clip from the new film, a film by Ridley Scott. And it looks fantastic. I just can't wait to watch it. It looks really, really good. Definitely my cup of tea. So I really look forward. I hope it's as good as it looks. Napoleon is one of history's greatest leaders. He's the greatest. I mean, he's amongst those such as Alexander the Great, Jules Caesar. You know, he was a conqueror, not just the French saviour, you know, the saviour of France during the French Revolution, and that he definitely was. But you know, he was an amazing conqueror. He wanted to spread the message of freedom and equality, and basically encouraging all the other nations of Europe to abolish their monarchies. He wanted to go and propagate this message. So he was going all over Europe and conquering everybody. And he went to Italy. I'm not sure how successful that was, but I think he also he went into Germany, he went into Spain, he went all over even into Russia. He attempted Russia, but I don't think that was one of the best moves that he did. Yeah, I mean, he won 80% of his battles. And I think that's, obviously, that is a phenomenal accomplishment for Napoleon. And obviously, he's famous for creating the Napoleonic Code. He created higher education, the sewer system, the sewerage systems, road systems, divorce. He established equality, stability. And yeah, he is amongst some of the greatest leaders. And yeah, he even did go into Egypt. He went into the Middle East, and he did attempt to go and claim that part of the world, but it didn't go very well, and it was a stalemate. And he recognized that actually he wasn't going to win that battle, and he did actually leave his army, and he went back to France. And but nobody questioned that, or it didn't seem to backfire on him. In fact, it went back into his favour that he'd returned to France, and he was welcomed back with open arms. And so, yes, you know, he was an excellent, most successful general. He turned France into the greatest military superpower in Europe. He was just a total inspiration to his troops. I mean, all his troops absolutely were very fond of him. They loved him. And he had an abundance of confidence and ambition. And yes, I can't wait to see the film. It looks fantastic. Yeah, I like that. It's a very strong country, and the people are extremely you know, they're very loyal to their value system and to their culture, and so they should be. And I think that's admirable. And I know they've had a lot of change, and they did lose their monarchy, but you know, it became a republic, a laïcité. And the droit de l'homme came into place, and you know, they created their own laws with Napoleon Bonaparte, and you know, he came at such a great time for France. He was just like the perfect emperor. He became their emperor, which is kind of like it's not a king, but it's kind of like a king, isn't it? But yeah, so but he was a military guy. He'd been brought up and you know, trained to be in the military, and he knew about order and control, and how to, from chaos, how to put France back into order, and to bring, you know, a lot of organisation. He reorganised and restructured the whole of France, and we have Napoleon Bonaparte to thank for obviously all the bureaucracy that exists in France, the wonderful paperwork that we all have to do. It is all down to Napoleon, so thank you. But you know, it protects the country as well. There is so much bureaucracy, but it kind of makes it it does make it difficult sometimes to be, you know, to a civilian in France. Even as a French person, you know, there's just so much paperwork sometimes to do, and, you know, to buy a house or rent a property, or, you know, to, you know, apply for passports or your carte d'identité and things like that. There's a lot of processes, you know, and whatever it is. But yes, France needed that during that time. It was really important that order came back into France one way or another, because it was absolute anarchy and chaos and very, very, very harsh times. And, you know, the streets were just very extremely dangerous. There were just people being killed and murdered. There was just blood everywhere. You know, it was a bloodbath. And it was the change, you know, in order to have the social change that they needed and they wanted, things had to get pretty bad before they got better. So we know that saying. So yeah, I think I know I sound like I'm going off a little bit into the deep end maybe, but living in France and, you know, being a fan of history, period dramas, and just generally having a sociological background, I just can't help myself than to, you know, I just get deeply interested in any debate around social change, the social infrastructure, power and control, cultural values, and social behaviour and change, and all of these amazing things in our socio-economic world and philosophical world as well, because it's always the philosophies and the ideological concepts behind these changes are the things that really are the reasons why it all comes into action. So it's like, you know, society has the vision and the emotion that is behind the change. So then it can, yeah, actually manifest itself, and, you know, so that the change can come. So, and it's not just part of history, but it's also part of, you know, what we're seeing even in today's world. It's definitely part of the world we live in, whether it's going back into, you know, the French Revolutionary times, or even before then when there were all the battles or going on, you know. So it's always been part of human social behaviour, formation, creation. There's always been a hierarchical you know, structure, an elitism going on, you know, those that are up here in control, and the little people who are further down, you know, and having to do what they're told, and not having much power, not having much say. But anyway, yes, the revolution was a time where it was just, yes, a time of the beginning of an amazing empowerment for the people, which could be debated. Obviously, there's two sides to everything. Yes, so I'm obviously getting very kind of passionate about French history, and I'm really enjoying just getting into understanding more about France and the society and the people, because I am French also. I have dual nationality and I am blood tied to France. So, you know, my mum is French and I'm very, very proud of it. And I've always felt this incredible strong link with France since forever. I've been extremely proud of my roots and my, you know, having been given all this beautiful history, you know, from England and France, and I'm very proud to be part of it. So there we are. I really hope you enjoyed part 2 of these videos. Please like and subscribe and leave any comments if you so wish to. It'll be great to hear from you, and I hope you enjoy part 3 coming next.